Hi, we're Tom and Lindsay. Back in May of 2023, we traveled across the United States of America on an Amtrak Rail Pass. The Rail Pass lets you take 10 rides of any distance in coach class. Normally, they sell for $500, but we got them when they were on sale for just $300. Already on this trip, we've taken the famous California Zephyr from Chicago to San Francisco, with a stop in Salt Lake City along the way. Now we're headed up to the Pacific Northwest. From San Francisco, we took a commuter train down to San Jose. Here we'll get on the Coast Starlight. This train connects Los Angeles, California with Seattle, Washington, a distance of 1,377 miles in 34 hours. We're taking it the 767 miles from San Jose to Portland, Oregon, a trip that will take 19 hours. Along the way, we'll enjoy a nice Amtrak breakfast while we take in the stunning views of the Cascade Range. Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome video. My name is Tom and I'm traveling on Amtrak's Coast Starlight today. We just spent a few days in San Francisco, California. Now we're headed up to the Pacific Northwest. Now I can anticipate some of the comments. Yes, I know that the really scenic part of the Coast Starlight is in Southern California along the Pacific Ocean. But still, I think we're gonna have a great trip up to Portland today. And who knows, I might even throw in a surprise for you. San Jose is the third largest city in the state of California. Dirdon Station is the main railway station here in San Jose. It opened in 1935. Currently, the Coast Starlight is the only long-distance train that calls here, but the station is served by frequent Caltrain service, as well as the occasional Ace train and the Amtrak Capital Corridor. Amtrak Thruway bus service is available to different parts of California, most notably the Highway 17 bus to Santa Cruz. And there's the VTA, America's least favorite light rail. This beautiful Italian Renaissance Revival style building hosts several exhibits about its history with the Southern Pacific Railroad. However, if you want to know even more, just ask Ron. Ron is a retired man who volunteers for Amtrak every Friday night. He was there to help with any questions about the train, but also about the history of the railroads, really just anything. He seemed happy to talk to someone who liked trains as much as he did. Hey Amtrak, shout out to your Friday night volunteer Ron. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met. Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift for that special someone in your life who loves trains? Do you love trains yourself, or do you want to support this channel over the holiday season? I'm so excited to announce that Trains Are Awesome has merch now. It's super easy to find. Either head to the store tab on our YouTube page or click the link in the description that takes you right to our store. For our first batch of merchandise, we have stickers, mugs, hoodies, and shirts. They feature trains from San Francisco, Chicago, Washington, D.C., the Netherlands, and Japan. And from now until Christmas Day, use promo code XMASTRAIN to receive 10% off your order. Now, back to today's feature.
Coast Starlight will be arriving on approximately 10 minutes. Train number 14, train number 14, track number 1.
As Ron led us to the platform, I was wondering what locomotive our train would have. This was back in May, and the new Siemens Chargers had just been put into service on this route. I was hoping we would get at least one. Turns out, we got two. I felt bad for Ron. Amtrak had reversed the consist of this train without saying anything, so he had unknowingly sent us to the wrong part of the platform. It was no big deal, and totally not his fault, but people were grumbling at him all the same. Just chill out, people. Anyways, the Starlight uses Amtrak Superliner coaches, The majority of the seats are on the top floor of these double-deck cars, which are accessed solely through this narrow staircase. We are in coach today because we are traveling on a rail pass. You get to pick any available seats here in San Jose. For a long time, the Coast Starlight was the only long-distance train that offered business class. Business class today is no longer available, but the seats are still there. They are a dark brown leather, still in rows of 2x2. They seem to be a little bit more padded than the regular coach seats, from what I could tell. The Coast Starlight also used to have a Pacific parlor car in its consist. This was a lounge only available to sleeper passengers, but it was discontinued in 2018. Today, passengers can enjoy the Sightseer Lounge, which is open to all. Once our ticket was scanned, I made a beeline for the observation car. This is my favorite spot in any Amtrak train that has them. The lounge-style seating encourages conversation between travelers, and the ceiling windows help you take in all the panoramic views you'll see along the way. One of the first things we pass once we leave San Jose is the Caltrain yard. Here we see a brand new Stadler KISS electric multiple unit, which will enter service in 2024. Next to it is a Bud SPV 2000 train used for inspections. So one of the reasons I wanted to get on in San Jose instead of like Emeryville or Richmond was because we should catch a little bit of daylight. Several people have asked me why we went to San Jose to board the Starlight when we were staying in San Francisco. It may seem like we were taking a detour. Well, first, I've always wanted to take Caltrain, and going to San Jose allowed us to do that. Second, taking BART to Oakland might be faster, but since BART and the Coast Starlight don't share a transfer station, it would involve us walking several city blocks with all our bags. Transferring at San Jose means no walking, since Caltrain and the Coast Starlight share the same station. Third, boarding in San Jose means the train is still a little bit quieter, so there's more of a chance to get seats together. And finally, I believe in maximizing scenery. Soon after San Jose, the train crosses the very southeastern tip of the San Francisco Bay over a causeway. As we were traveling in May, this meant that the sun set right as we were surrounded by water on both sides. Beautiful views that were more than worth traveling to San Jose for. Here, we are still sharing tracks with Ace Trains and Amtrak's Capital Corridor. However, soon we will take a different route to Oakland, our next stop. While the Capital Corridor switches over to the Union Pacific Niles subdivision, we travel over the Union Pacific Coast subdivision. The Coast Starlight is the only passenger train to use this route. By the time we reach Oakland, our train will switch onto the Niles sub as well, and we will share tracks with the Capital Corridor all the way to Sacramento.
Ta-da!
Ooh, what's that? Is that what I think it is?
Asian style noodle bowl.
Best thing Amtrak makes.
Oh yeah.
Lindsay went to the cafe located in the bottom of the observation car to grab us some dinner. This is Oakland Jack London Square, the main station here in Oakland. Across from us is an Amtrak California train equipped with an SC-44 Charger locomotive, one Comet car that formerly belonged to New Jersey Transit, several California cars, and then a non-powered control unit on the other end, nicknamed a cabbage car. This is one thing I like about Amtrak here in Northern California. There are a lot of cool consists that you can't really see anywhere else.
Ladies and gentlemen, next station stop coming up in approximately 8 minutes. Emeryville. Emeryville next station stop with bus connection to San Francisco. If this is your destination or drop a point, please take the stop to make numbers for the trading. Emeryville, San Francisco next station stop.
Immediately after leaving Jack London Square, we enter a street running section. Our train is now running down the Embarcadero in downtown Oakland, in between the cars. There are a few street running sections throughout the United States, but I'm not sure if there are any other places where Amtrak long-distance trains run down the middle of the street. We begin to settle down in our seats for the night. We both fell asleep briefly, but unfortunately the train stops in Sacramento at around midnight. The crowds getting on and off made a little bit of noise, but what really woke everybody up was the 40-year-old man who threw a ballistic tantrum after his neighbor accidentally touched him. Yeah, fun times. A very good morning from the very north of California. After a rough start to the night, I think that we both were able to sleep decently, and now we're about to head back to the dining car to see if we can get a spot for breakfast. We made our way to the dining car, which is located behind the Sightseer Lounge. For both of us, this was our very first time eating in an Amtrak dining car. Why had we never done this before? Well, I like to travel in coach. For sleeper passengers, all meals in the dining car are included, hence the high price tag for a sleeper ticket. In the past, coach passengers could also eat in the dining car and just pay for the meal out of pocket. But that changed when the pandemic hit. Suddenly, coach passengers were no longer allowed to eat in the dining car on any train. My first ever long-distance Amtrak trip was in 2021 on the Southwest Chief. This means that the dining car was never an option for me. Until now. In the spring of 2023, Amtrak finally announced that coach passengers were allowed to eat in the dining car on the western long-distance routes. Breakfast costs $20, lunch $25, and dinner is $45. Good morning, Lindsay. What did you order here in the dining car?
Breakfast quesadilla.
And I got the Amtrak signature railroad French toast. Thank you.
Quesadilla bacon? Yes. Quesadilla with sausage? Yes, sir. Thank you.
The attendant seated us, together with another coach passenger, and took our order. This really is just like a restaurant, except we're running through the beautiful scenery of Southern Oregon. How's the food?
Very good.
While we were eating, the train stopped at Klamath Falls, Oregon. As people boarded the train below, up here in the diner, we were buttering our croissants and pouring syrup. For a brief moment in time, this train transformed into the Toast Starlight. Well, that was my very first Amtrak dining experience. I have to say, the French toast was really, really good. I might not pay $20 for it in a regular restaurant, but to start your day slowly like that, with the beautiful Southern Oregon views outside, I'd say it's worth it. Soon, our train hugs the shores of Upper Klamath Lake, the largest lake in the state of Oregon. We follow it for 18 miles.
Look at those fancy ducks. Sounds like a redhead.
Upper Klamath Lake has a large surface area, being 8 miles wide and 20 miles long. However, it's not very deep. The lake is home to a diverse wildlife. Many different fish swim here, some endangered, while birds roam the skies above, like the bald eagle.
That might be an eagle, actually. Yeah, that's an eagle.
This place is just absolutely teeming with birds. We've seen pelicans, we saw a bald eagle fly right by our window.
It's pretty big, so.
If you're enjoying this video, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome. There is more content just like this, and we upload twice a week. This section of the route is relatively flat, but soon we're back to climbing up into the Cascade Range. Perfect time to talk about the history of the Coast Starlight. Believe it or not, Amtrak sort of invented the Coast Starlight. Just as a refresher, Amtrak was founded by Congress in 1971 to take over passenger service from the many private railroad companies that were previously running them. Most railroad companies wanted out of the passenger train business, but Congress realized that there should be some form of passenger rail left. Before all of this went down, there was no direct train service between Southern California and Seattle. Different companies operated their own trains on the various segments. Then came the Amtrak takeover. Amtrak introduced a direct, unnamed train from San Diego all the way to Seattle. This overnight train ran 3 days a week. The other 4 days, there was just a daytime train between Oakland and LA. In November of that year, the Oakland-LA train was extended to San Diego and given the name Coast Daylight. This name was taken from the Southern Pacific train that used to run on the same route. On the 3 days that the train ran all the way to Seattle, there was an interesting construction. Each train got 2 numbers. Trains headed north were called the Coast Daylight/Starlight, while southbound return trips were called the Coast Starlight/Daylight. By April 1972, service was axed south of LA, replaced by the Amtrak San Diegan service. In June of 1973, Amtrak decided to conduct an experiment. They ran the combination Starlight-Daylight train 7 days a week, just for the summer. However, this service proved so popular that the 7-day schedule became permanent. Every day, the train now ran between LA and Seattle. Finally, in 1974, they got rid of the complicated naming scheme. The train was now just called the Coast Starlight, the name it carries to this day. But a remnant of this history lives on in the train numbering system. Train 11 runs southbound, while Train 14, the train we're on, heads north. The 12 and 13 are gone, along with the daylight part of the name. Up in this part of the Cascades, we are once again running alongside snowbanks. The highest point on the Coast Starlight was back in California, but the highest point in this section where we're crossing the Cascade Range is at Cascade Summit. Here we are at a height of 4,852 feet, or 1,479 meters. After Cascade Summit, we begin descending to lower altitudes and the snow disappears. Okay, so I decided to check out a bathroom in the car with the brown seats, and I mean, layout-wise, they're the same, but the colors are completely different, which is interesting.
These all got burned or if they just got chopped down, see how it died. It's kind of like just
They're probably good there, you know, because it's like a fuel tank.
We are now running parallel to the Middle Fork Willamette River, one of the branches that ends up forming the famous Willamette River. In the middle of this river is a large reservoir known as Lookout Point Lake.
Part of the headwater is the Willamette River. We're going to follow this reservoir here for about the next 10-15 minutes or so. We'll follow that Willamette River all the way northward on into Portland, crossing about 6 times to get there. But again, the Lookout Point Reservoir out the inside of the tube.
I think it's cool that even though we did not get to ride this train as it ran past the Pacific coast, water is still a theme in the scenery throughout the trip. No matter where you ride the Coast Starlight, the views are amazing. Soon we arrive at Eugene, Oregon. Eugene is a fresh air stop, which means they give you some time to get off the train and stretch your legs on the platform. Eugene, Oregon. Wow, it is nice and warm here. Let's go check out those Chargers. The Siemens-built ALC-42s are in the Phase 6 livery, like I said earlier. Only 5 locomotives have ever received this livery, a small fraction of the total number of locomotives that will be built once the order is complete. In the future, it's going to be extremely rare to see 2 locomotives with this livery attached to each other. As I was taking some pictures of the engines, I made a new friend, a fellow rail fan traveling from Toronto who also spoke Dutch. We spent the rest of the afternoon chatting in the Sightseer Lounge. It was so cool to meet you, Lennart. I think taking the Coast Starlight from San Jose to Portland was a really good move. I mean, not only did we get to meet some really cool people on the train, but also we had the whole day in San Francisco, got to unwind a little bit at night before it was time to go to bed, had a great day on the train today, and are still going to have some time to explore Portland once we get off the train. Also, this train has either been early or on time the entire duration of the trip. Good job, Siemens Chargers.
If you do step off or out to smoke, you need to be back train side no later than 3:50 p.m.
We continue along the Willamette River, but soon Portland is in sight. Though the train continues to Seattle, Portland is our stop. We cross the steel bridge over the Willamette. Trains run on the lower deck of this bridge, while cars and the light rail use the top level. Welcome to Portland Union Station. We've got our Coast Starlight over here, Empire Builder to Chicago over there, and back there,
there's a Cascades. We'll be taking the Cascades tomorrow, but this afternoon we're going to explore the beautiful, sunny, warm city of Portland. Also, I'd like to mention that we got into Portland a full 45 minutes early.
Portland Union Station serves the Coast Starlight as well as the Empire Builder and Cascade services. The building dates back to 1896 and houses everything you could need: a ticket office, a kiosk with tons of railroad souvenirs, and a Metropolitan Lounge. Hey Lindsay, do you know my Amtrak shirt I wear like all the time? Yeah. I bought it right in that store. Connections are available nearby to light rail and the streetcar. I hope to come back someday and ride the entire Coast Starlight route from end to end. But even the section we rode from San Jose to Portland deserves praise for its beautiful scenery. Amtrak really is the best way to see the country. The food we had on board was delicious, but mostly I think we'll remember the friends we made along the way. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.